Hello, everybody. This is Anushree from the Vedic Experience. Today, we have an interesting topic on the fourth house or fourth bhava. And we have with us Sir Shankar Achanta. He's from Hyderabad. I don't know how many of you all know him. He has a Facebook page and he's a very, very popular astrologer. So, he will be talking about the fourth house, the fourth bhava. So, sir, welcome to our channel.
Uh,
Um,
Thank you, Anu. Thank you very
can-
much for having me. It is great to hear from you after a very long time. And of course, as Anu said, I'm from Hyderabad, Telangana, and I've been learning this particular science of predicting events for the last 30 years. And under strange events, I started learning this subject matter. I would just like to give a gist about this particular event so that people can understand how this has come into my life. One day I visited a astrologer, so-called astrologer. He calls himself a great astrologer. That was prior to my Jupiter Dasha. Okay. And he saw my chart and he said, okay, you're going to become a multimillionaire and all that stuff, all the things, you have a very good life and all this stuff. He was telling me. And after that, I think after a month or two, my Jupiter Dasha started off. And Anu, I'm telling you, I had a very, very, very bad experience with respect to Jupiter Dasha. At that point of time, I got married. I had a major accidents in the Jupiter Dasha. My career crashed totally. Okay. So after that, I have decided, no, this is not the way the Jupiter, the Dashas or the Vedic astrology has to be taught. So I started learning on my way. I do not have a direct guru, but I started learning, buying books and watching Jyotish videos of my gurus. I know, of course, we know all our gurus also. Let me just take their names. Sanjay ji, Vistilasan ji, Rafal ji, and of course, the person who has created Jyotish software, Jagannath Dhore, Sri Narasimha Rao ji. This is how I started my learning. So I do not have any direct guru as such, but the grace of God, I started doing it.
I would like to say something.
Yes, Anu.
That
Yeah.
there are certain combinations in your horoscope which make you predict things, that your utterances come true. You have that Jyotish combination in your chart. So no matter who you have learned from in this birth, I think even our relation comes from the last birth. Today, as we talk, as
Yes.
we do recording, Jupiter is in
Yeah.
Gemini, and that is my ninth house of
Yes.
Guru. And you are a Gemini
Yes.
Rashi. You are a Gemini
Yes.
Rashi. Also, you are
Yes. Absolutely.
A Leo ascendant,
Yes.
and Kate has just gone to um, Leo. So that is very
And
interesting.
yes. Carry on, Anu. Carry on.
Yeah. So I think that there is always some kind of Rinanu, and there's a Rina, and there is a
Yeah.
karmic thing. So no matter who we learn from, how we come in touch with, like I know you since 2007. So, and now finally,
Yes.
2025, we are doing our first ever recording by God's
Yeah.
grace.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Anu.
So let's
And
continue.
Anu, I would like to also tell you, yeah, Anu, just small thing. I would just like to continue. For the people who are listening to this, what you call Zoom meeting, please understand that Atma Karka plays a very important role in learning Jyotish. Okay. Of course, at some point of time, we will try to make small bits about the Jyotish rules. And let us start with the original topic, what we have thought about, which is fourth house. Okay. So
Yeah.
let me start with this fourth house. Fourth house is the house of coordinate. It is called as Kendra. Okay. And also you should understand that in order to have a good structure, good building, okay, we should have a strong pillars. In the same way, if you want to have a very good chart, we should have the four pillars of the chart, which is we call it as kendras. And one of the kendras which we are talking about is nothing but the fourth house. Now, what is fourth house? And where can we see this fourth house? When we talk about the natural Bhachakra, which is called a zodiac, we find that from Aries, if you count the fourth house, it comes to Cancer. People call it as Karka Rashi. I will call it as Karkataka Rashi because everybody has a different names for that, but everything falls into the fourth house. Fourth house is a mobile sign. Okay. It is a Jalatattva Rashi. Okay. And also it is a Rashi associated with Vishnu, which is called as the Vishnu Bhava. Okay. And it is also called as Hrudaya Bhava. Hrudaya Bhava means the purity of your heart always comes from the fourth house. Okay. Now, what is actually the fourth house? What is the significance of the fourth house? We need to understand. Fourth house is all about the happiness what we get from our mother, which is very, very important for us to understand. There are other aspects also. Slowly, we'll try to bring that particular aspects also into this Zoom meeting. But the main thing is that mother plays a very important role. That is why it is the fourth house. Okay. And also you should also try and understand that if you have a pure heart, which is also called as Vishnu Bhava, which you have a pure heart, everything will fall in place in your life. Okay. Depending upon what planets are placed over there, we can say or we can predict
So can you hear me?
yeah,
Yeah, your voice got cut. So one more
yeah,
thing which
yeah,
I want
yeah.
to add is that fourth house is also the moksha trikon. It's one of the moksha trikon. It is very important
Yes,
for our spiritual progress. It's not just how
yeah,
we feel, but it is the dwar. It is the door to the 10th house of karma. It is the fifth
yes,
house from the earth house, right?
yes,
And it is the
yes,
ninth house from the eighth house. So fourth house is
yes,
very important. How we feel about ourselves and what we have to give, because fourth house is our domestic upbringing. So what we
yeah,
have, what we are given is our fourth house. It is the 12th
yes,
from the fifth.
absolutely.
If
Yeah,
fifth is the Purva
yes,
Punya, the 12th of that is the fourth house. So fourth house plays a very, very important role in our spiritual progress, our moksha, our ability to get moksha, because it is the purity, it is that devotion. The bhakti yoga comes from the fourth house.
yeah,
So that's
yes,
one thing.
yeah. And also, I would like to throw some light about the karakas of the fourth house. It is not only the
Yeah.
moon, but there are so many karakas for the fourth house. Okay. The main
Mm.
karaka for the fourth house is moon. We all know about it. Okay. God help those children who do not have parents in their life, especially the mother. Okay. God help those people because we see a lot of people on the streets who are begging. I'm very much, annoyed and sorry about those people. And thank God that we have our mothers who have taken care of us. So plays a very, very important role. The second karaka for the fourth house is Ketu. Okay, Ketu also, see one thing, Ketu and Moon do not get along very well. It is called as Grahana Yoga. But
I'm sorry, I think the internet is getting a little difficult for us to proceed.
but he is blessed with properties. The properties will be maybe very small, but definitely he will be blessed with the property.
Sir, we lost you there. The recording got a little bit blemished. Ketu in the fourth house, you said that it is, I mean, Ketu is the Karaka for the fourth house. So, sir, we have lost you there and you're muted.
Okay,
You were
sorry
saying
for the
about the
disturbance, Anu.
Ketu. You were
Yeah,
saying about the
okay,
Ketu in the fourth house.
yeah,
Ketu Karaka for the
yeah,
fourth
yeah,
house.
Ketu, yeah, Ketu. It is also the karaka for the fourth house. People who are having Ketu in the fourth house, they are blessed with property. The property is very small, but even then they are blessed with the properties. But the main problem with the people having Ketu is that they have a Grahana Yoga because Ketu will always have a Grahana on the moon. So the probability is that people having Ketu in the fourth house, they may not be able to get along with their mother properly, or at that some point of time in their life, they may lose their mother. Okay, they may lose their mother. Now, the natural age of the Ketus are 42 and 43, if I'm not wrong, 42 or 43 or 46
So
and
the
47.
age is
So at
48
that
of
48, yeah,
40.
absolutely. So at this point of time, there is a probability that the people may get separated from the mother. So that is one thing people should understand from the Jyotish point of view. The other karaka for the fourth house is Venus. Venus is all about luxuries. So people who are having Venus in its own house or in any of the fourth house, if it is not flanked or it is not hemmed between malefics or it is not within the enemy's house, these people are blessed with posh properties. Okay. They are blessed with good vehicles. Okay. So the other karaka for the fourth house is Jupiter. People having Jupiter in the fourth house, they are blessed with good heart, as I told you. They are blessed with good mother who who will try and give a moral values or some sort of dharmic kind of learnings to the children. Okay, and also these people will be blessed with big buildings. A small example I will tell you. My Jupiter is placed in the 12th house, which is not the fourth house, but it is aspecting the fourth house by the fifth house aspect because I'm a Leo guy. Okay. So Jupiter is aspecting my Scorpio sign, which is the fourth house, and I'm blessed with a huge property, as you know. Now, the other thing which I would also like to try to tell you the Karka is Mercury. People have a wrong notion about Mercury. People say that Mercury is ineffective in the fourth house, but it is wrong. People who have got Mercury in the fourth house, they will also have houses in a very posh localities, commercial localities, especially when this fourth house is the Kanya Rashi. Okay, because Kanya Rashi is about all about commercial activity. The only problem with the people who have got fourth house in their kundali is that they'll try to accumulate unnecessary things in their life. Okay, they should stop doing this. They should discard these things. And of course, when we talk about moon sitting in the fourth house is very good. They have a very good mother who can understand, who will try to do her best to upbring the child. Other planets which are malefic planets are like Saturn, Mars, Rahu. They are never good in the fourth house because each of these planets have their own significance and they can destroy the native with respect to the fourth house. Yes, Anu, tell me.
So I was saying about the Karaka of the fourth
Mm-hmm,
house. As we know, fourth house is Cancer. So as we read any
mm-hmm.
planets in Cancer, we also look at natural fourth house. So any planet in Cancer or any planet in fourth house is almost the same. But
Yes,
because as we the natural Karaka of fourth house is Moon. First of all, because it is lorded by um, it is the Rashi Lord of Cancer, first Karaka.
yes, yes, yes.
Second Karaka is
Mm.
Jupiter. Jupiter exalts in Cancer, right? So Jupiter is another Karaka of the fourth house. Third is Venus. Venus and Moon both get Digbari in the fourth house. These are the representatives of farms, property,
Yeah,
homes,
Digbali
all these Karakas.
for for the people who are understanding, Digbala is nothing but a directional strength.
Directional
Every
strength.
planet, the ninth, yeah, they have some directional strength. So planets placed in the directions becomes very strong. Please, Anu, carry on.
So Venus and Moon both get Digbari in the fourth house, so they are strong. And Mars, though it is a malefic, Mars is a Karaka for land and landed properties. So though Mars in the fourth house is not going to be good for the Jiva Karaka, because what happens whenever there's a malefic in any bhava, it destroys the bhava. But however, it can give some gains to the Graha Karaka tattvas. So what happens when the Mars is in the fourth house, the person is feeling a lot of unrest in the heart. The emotional quotient is disturbed. The way the person feels is disturbed. Domestic life is disturbed because it is affecting the Graha Karka Tattva. It is affecting the Bhava. However, the person will have a lot of land. I know people, Mars in the fourth house, they have lot of land, especially Mars in fourth house in Virgo. Virgo is the Rashi of parks and greenery. So as you said,
Yes,
remember the fourth house. Mercury is also the karaka of fourth house because fourth house is the karaka, is the Rashi for education. So Mercury as a
Yes,
karaka represents education. Moon as a
it's a
karaka
primary
represents,
education.
yeah. So how the karakas are different is that Mars is the karaka of fourth house, is the karaka for land. Moon
Yes,
as a karaka for fourth house is peace, happiness, the emotion, the mother, domestic life, all that. That is moon. Venus is the karaka for
yeah,
vehicles. The jewelry that you have is also fourth house. The luxury that you have, the conveniences is Venus. Mercury as a karaka for fourth house is education. So
yeah.
all these are the karaka plus Jupiter. Jupiter is the karaka for your sanskar, the gunas that you have, the upbringing, the
Moral
children
values,
of the father
upbringing.
and mother. Yeah, the mother, the sanskar and the teachings of your mother. The mother is your first guru. So Jupiter in the fourth
Yeah,
house is basically the happiness, also the financial abundance is given by
yeah.
Jupiter in the fourth house.
Because
So
Vishnu is because Jupiter is nothing but Vishnu, and Vishnu is all about sustenance. So people having Jupiter in the fourth house, they are sustained by the properties and also with lots of money.
and Jupiter in the fourth house also gives you palatial homes, like large, spacious homes. People who have Jupiter in the fourth house, they may have smaller homes, but their homes are very spacious. They will not be crowding it up with a lot of furniture. Also, Jupiter is the Akash Tattva planet, and Jupiter represents contentment, satisfaction. You may have very little,
Yes,
but the feeling of being contented and joyous is Jupiter. So Jupiter in the fourth house exalts, and Jupiter is also in a very good bhava that he's at ease, if not afflicted. So Jupiter as a karak for the fourth house is a karak for satisfaction, contentment, and happiness. Moon in the fourth
yeah.
house may give a
And
lot of change, travel, change in places, fear, anxiety. Now, all these planets will give different effects if they are afflicted. So it all
yes,
depends that if they are Swarashi, Ucha Rashi, are they in Nicha
yeah,
Rashi, or they are having any aspect of Mars, Saturn, Rahu, Ketu, Rahu, then definitely you'll have um, issues.
yes. So that is the reason they said, I mean, as per the Jyotish rule, they say that any malefic planet in Kendra should be in a state of debilitation so that the power of that particular planet does not come onto her or come on to the native, and the native, feels very bad about that particular area of his life.
Hmm.
Carry on, Anu.
No, sir, you're right. Go ahead.
Yeah. So the other thing is what I'm trying to tell you that planets in the fourth house, as we discussed, gives lot of outcome with respect to the placement. But also the another thing what I would like to tell you that whichever planet is placed in the fourth house, the color is also associated with that particular planet. Okay. Like as I told you, my Jupiter is in the 12th house and it is aspecting the fourth house. My entire house is yellow color because yellow color is represented by Jupiter, golden yellow color. And also because
Northeast
Scorpio
direction
is the
might be
natural,
dominant. Northeast
yeah,
direction might be
and
dominant.
yes, 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 absolutely. And because my fourth house is also related to Mars, my some part of my house is in red color because Mars is red color. Go ahead, Anu.
And now again, because the fourth house Rashi, one thing we have to understand is fourth house, there are two aspects. One is the Bhava and one is the Rashi. Okay, and the third
Yeah.
aspect is the planet sitting there along with the hodgepodge of the aspects on the planet. So
Hmm.
for your case, fourth house is Scorpio. So definitely Scorpio will play a very important role, irrespective of where Mars is sitting as fourth lord, where Jupiter is aspecting. It doesn't matter. Scorpio will totally dominate your fourth house. That is why your property,
Yes.
there is a dispute in the property or the property is divided because Scorpio has two rulers,
Yes.
Mars two. So
Yes.
fourth house
Yes.
has that effect. So Bhava Karaka of fourth house is Moon. However, the Graha Karakas of the fourth house are Jupiter, Moon, Venus, Mars, and Mercury, right? So for you,
Yes.
what is happening is, sir, that because your fourth house is Scorpio, where the Bhava Karaka debilitates, though Jupiter
Yeah.
is expected, you're not able to get the full outcome, full benefit of that fourth house.
Yes, absolutely right. Absolutely.
The
In
bhavas
fact,
are
as
the
you said,
destiny there.
yeah. In fact, as you said that there will be some dispute in the property. Yes, definitely I had a dispute in the property with my sister, which ultimately got, cleared, and the entire property is on my name right now.
But that again will be, because Ketu is 48. Ketu is 48
Yeah,
age. And
yeah,
so planets, which are the fourth house is important, but as you know, each house is sixth, eighth, and 12th from another house. The planets in your bhava or in anyone's bhava, for example, the eighth house, the 11th house, and the ninth house, those will be important for the matters of the fourth house. For example, you want to buy a vehicle,
okay,
or you had bad experience with your vehicle or your property. Suppose the gain of your property, right? In your case, there might be some planet in your ninth house and some planet in your 11th house. The age of that planet might have activated the particular event.
yes, absolutely right, absolutely. Okay, Anu, I mean, we have tried to make some things very clear with respect to the planetary placement in the fourth house, the aspect of the planets on the fourth house. Aspect is nothing but a drishti. That means it may not have a direct control on the fourth house, but it has got some interest in that fourth house. So aspect also plays a very important role. There is some concept called as argala. We will, of course, at a later point of time, we will try to, talk about the argalas also. Any planet which is placed in the fourth house will have argala on the lagna. That means it will have a direct intervention on the lagna. So malefics in the fourth house will definitely try to ruin your life. Okay, benefits will definitely bring you out of that bad situation. Now coming to the other aspect of the fourth house, Rashi is global. We cannot know everything about ourselves, about the fourth house from the Rashi itself. We have to take other things into account, which is called as Varga Chakras. Okay. Varga Chakras play a very important role in the Jyotish because they talk about the minutest part of the area of our life. Let us suppose we are talking about vehicles. Okay. Even though the fourth house controls the vehicles, D16 is that Varga Chakra where you need to see what sort of vehicles you are going to own or how you are going to buy the vehicles, whether you are going to have some accidents from the vehicles, whether you are going to buy new vehicles. We have to see the amshas of that particular D16 chart also. And other thing I would like to also tell you, so for education purpose also, there is something called a Siddhamsha, D24 chart, and in that, we have to see the fourth house for the primary education and the sixth house for the secondary education and ninth house for the higher education. There are other two houses, which is the second house and seventh house, which are nothing but much beyond the higher education, which is nothing but masters and doctors. Okay. There is something other thing which we are talking about the Varga chakra, which is nothing but the D12 chakra, which talks about our parents. Okay. How our parents have taken care of us. D45 and D40 is mother. And from this, we will know as to what are the curses we are carrying forward from this lineage.
Sir, I would just like to interrupt you because of the connection we got a little bit cut. So you said the D12 chart, the Dwadashamsha chart, is for parents. So what were you saying about that? So you were
Okay,
talking about
I was just,
D12 chart.
yeah,
You were
D12 is
talking
all
about the
about,
D12 chart.
yeah, D12 is all about our parents. Okay. The Karaka for the D12 is moon and sun because moon is mother and sun is our father. Well, as you said, for D16, Venus is the Karaka. Whenever you are buying a vehicle, we always see the fourth house of the D16 chart. Any planet in the fourth house, the dasha of that particular fourth house lord, or any planet in the fourth house, or any planet which is aspecting that fourth house at that point of time, definitely we will buy the vehicle. One small example I will give you. Very recently, my child has bought a vehicle. Okay, very recently, after 25 years, my child has bought a vehicle. And when I saw the D16 chart, I found that Saturn was aspecting the fourth house. And the vehicle which I got was blue in color. Saturn represents blue color. Okay. Saturn, just like my Jupiter was aspecting my fourth house, and my house was little bit of yellow color and little bit of red color. The borders are of red color and the entire house is of yellow color. In the same way, when my child bought a vehicle, okay, the color of the vehicle was blue in color. Saturn was aspecting the fourth house. Now, when we are talking about D24, it is all about education. Fourth house is the primary education. Sixth house is the secondary education. Ninth house is the higher education. Second and seventh house are the education which is much beyond the higher education, which is nothing but masters and doctors. Please, Anu.
Doctorate, PhD. Yeah. No, so I was just wanting to add that the vehicle, the D16 chart. So people usually always ask, when can I buy a vehicle? Or sometimes they
Yeah,
impulsively buy a vehicle and it turns out to be a bad luck car for them. Sometimes people
yeah,
have a fleet of cars which are doing very well. However, they hardly use them. Some of them
yes,
have a fleet of cars, but most of them go into repair. So fourth house
yeah,
aspect, just because you have Ketu in the fourth house, do not judge that you should not have a vehicle. If you have a strongly blessed, D16 chart, then even though you might be deprived of the happiness from your mother, domestic comforts, or you might not be doing well, your mother might be of ill health, but with the D16 chart, even with a Ketu in the fourth house, D16 chart, if it is a very nice fourth house in D16, you will have a very nice conveyance, luxury vehicles. Something like Ketu in the fourth house can also give you electric cars in today's world. And planets in the 12th house, 6th house, and 8th house of the D16 are very important when it comes to resale, second hand cars, repairs of cars going into accident. Like you buy a new car and you have an accident. Such yogas are
yeah,
there in the D16, which is actually very interesting, because people feel that Venus is coming in their fourth house in transit, or Jupiter is coming in fourth house in transit, and they want to buy a car. And when you look at D16, you get to know that this person will buy the car, and within 1 week they have an accident. Or,
absolutely.
I mean, yeah, sometimes even good things can come because that car will activate other things. Also,
It's
sir,
a
D16,
nimitta. Anything which is coming to our life, it is nothing but a nimitta.
yeah. Also, sir, D16, because the Karaka is Venus, Venus is about enthusiasm. It's about, the joy of, like, even if you're having luxury, it's about the joy of that luxury. Everything beautiful, right? So D16 chart also shows the level of enjoyment that you derive from the jewelry you have, the conveniences you have, the farms, property, the home that you like. You have a mansion, but are you happy with the mansion, or are you hardly living in the house, right? So D16 Karak being Venus, which is the enthusiasm of life. I feel I usually go to D16 and check whether whatever conveyances, affluence, the homes, everything that you have, are you going to derive happiness from it or not? So
Yeah,
sometimes some people have cars, right? They have like a BMW, or they have even a small ordinary car, basic model. But the happiness from that is seen in D16.
okay. When we are talking about D16, Anu, never judge a person just by looking at what sort of cars he's buying. A person may be buying a BMW, but what sort of money he is buying, we do not know. Okay. So let me just talk about this Arudhas. Arudha is something which is rising, which we can see in our life. Okay. So when we are trying to understand Jyotish, also understand Jyotish from the Arudha point of view. So let us suppose, like you have Venus in the photos, as you said, but you also have A8 in there. That is Mrityu Arudha, which is very bad for the native. Maybe he must have bought that vehicle by taking some loan, or as you said, after buying the vehicle, it must have met with some accidents. In the same way, for other Varga Chakras also, we need to see the Arudas. Like, let us suppose when we talk about D24, if a person is going for a higher education, which is the ninth house, and there you find the Gatika Lagna in D24 chart, you can simply say that this person is going to go to a college or a university, which is the higher end university, which is called as where it is represented by Gatika Lagna. Gatika Lagna is nothing but power and authority in a very
Seat of
simple terms.
power.
But the same Gatika Lagna, when we talk about D24, it means that that person is going to a higher end education or higher end colleges or universities, or maybe is flying to a foreign country because ninth house is also a foreign country. Maybe he's going to a
Right.
foreign country, Oxford University, Cambridge University, okay, Denver University. Like that, we have to try and analyze. Just looking at the D24 and telling, okay, you're going to do this, you're going to do that. No, it is not like that. We have to see Arudhas also, please.
So when it comes to clients asking whether my child should go abroad, whether my child should stay in India for masters, and sometimes we tell them there's no, in some cases, very few cases, we tell them that do not let the child, do not spend a lot of lakhs and dollars on your child's education. Let them work, let them themselves start studying. And in those cases,
Yeah,
usually whenever the Mrityu A8, that is the Aruda of the eighth house, is associated to education, especially in D24, or even in the, in your D1 Rashi, we see that the minute this person goes to study, he has a worldwide, he has an upheaval, lots of ups and downs, and his life goes for a toss. So in that case,
yes,
we would not want that event to start. Of course, when the dasha is there, it will start. But in those cases, we advise. And the case that you said about Hatika Lagna, that is when suppose somebody is like from some Manipal University in India. Suddenly dasha comes and that person gets some miraculous score, okay, GRE score, GMAT score, and he ends up in Harvard. That Harvard,
yes,
now suddenly he's become the king because Ghatika Lagna is rising there, which means that
yeah,
because of that one master's degree, now his full fortune has changed.
yes, absolutely right, absolutely
So
right.
though his fourth house may be weak, or maybe his graduation was weak, or he came from a very ordinary university,
Yes,
but that
absolutely right.
person, that when he did that master's, he went abroad and he got that power.
Okay. When we are talking about Varga Chakra, Anu, we should also talk about D20, which is called as Vimshamsi Chakra. Vimshamsi Chakra is all about the spiritual upheaval of the native. So when we are talking about the fourth house, particularly this particular Zoom meeting is all about fourth house. The same fourth house in the D20 chart talks about the Grama Devata. Okay. Whatever planets are placed over there, that particular planet in some form of the other represents a Gram. It can be a Ugra Devata or it can be a Saumya Devata also. So we need to see the fourth house of the D20 chart and understand which Grama Devata is blessing us. And my simple understanding is that go and visit the Grama Devata at least once in a month. At least once in a month, go and meet the Devata and take her blessings or his blessings. Please, Anu.
So one thing which I would like to tell the audience is that Grama Devata is a deity, just like we have Kula Devata, which is the lineage deity, Ishta Devata, which is the deity of the soul. And then we have Dharma Devata, which is guiding your soul regarding dharma. And then we have Palan Devata, which takes care of your sustenance. So Grama Devata is basically wherever you are residing, the community you are residing, that area, there will be a god. You may be belonging to a
Yes,
particular caste or community, that is different deity. But wherever you're living, for me now, Grama Devata is Krishna because we have a ISKCON temple here. So
yes,
whenever you have issues in the place that you're living, because fourth house is domicile, fourth house is where you're living. So fourth house, there's a deity for it. Many a times, whenever Badakesha, which is, we have a concept of Badaka and Badakesha.
yeah,
Whenever
yeah,
Badakesha is associated to the fourth house or the fourth lord, which means that you must resume Grama Devata worship. But people do not know who is the
yes,
Grama Devata. In those cases,
yeah,
we look at their D20, and I said at the starting that fourth house is the house of Moksha Trikon. It's a Trikon of Moksha, spirituality. So that stems the spirituality, your bhakti yoga, your devotion, surrender, the mother goddess, right? That is,
yeah,
um, if you look at the amshas of D20 also, we have different mother goddesses there. So even the
yes,
goddess
yes,
that you should not worship, there are goddesses that you should not worship. For example, Dasamahavidyas. There are some of them, maybe all you can worship, but maybe one, if you worship, then it can lead to the extinction of your entire race. So there are certain deities in D20, we can find that out. stemming from the Grama Devata concept, stemming from the fourth house of Moksha Trikon concept, spirituality, the deities which we should not pray to, or the one we should pray
Yeah.
to, the mother goddess who you can connect very well. That is seen in D20. So
Yeah.
you were talking
When we're
about
talking about,
D40 and D45. D40 and
yeah,
D45, which is the maternal and the paternal lineage. And the
yeah,
fourth house is actually the union, in a way, of sun and moon, because fourth house is your home. It is the way how your
yeah,
parents have raised you, right? What happens in
yes.
the domestic life growing up is fourth house, and that translates to the lineage of your father, mother, the childhood upbringing, the conditioning of your father and your mother, what they got, and then they raised you. So the root of your
Yeah.
fourth house, the issues in your childhood or domestic life growing up, those can stem out the grassroots issues from your D40, D45.
Because if you see, if you actually understand the lineage, whether the lineage is good or lineage is corrupted or is destroyed totally, we, as you said, we see from D40 and D45. For the simple reason, we also see the 12th house because that is the place where we are going to take birth. Let us suppose it is fourth house. Fourth house is the 12th house is nothing but eight from the fourth. So what is the prarabdha karma we are carrying from the lineage point of view is always seen from the fourth house, 12th house, and eighth house. And D40 and D45. D40 is nothing but mother side, okay, and D45 is nothing but the father side. Yes, Anu.
Yeah. So also D12, the Dwadashamsha chart, whenever we are getting married or having a child, there are certain issues inside us. There are certain generational curses, certain remedies that we have to do. We look at D12 first, like D1, D9, and D12. These are the three basic charts we need to check. And D12, what we were talking about, fourth house. So fourth lord has to be checked in your D12. Similarly, sun and moon we check, and ninth lord also we check. So suppose fourth lord is in Ashwini Kumara Amsha. Okay, there are different Amsha, Ganesha Amsha, Yama Amsha,
Yes,
Ashwini
yes,
Kumara,
yes.
Sarpa Amsha, four
Sarpamsha.
Amsha.
Yes.
So if
Yeah.
if your fourth lord, because you're talking about fourth house topic here, I want to say that
Yeah.
if your fourth lord
Yeah.
is in Ashwini Kumara Amsha, then you will be very, very obedient to your mother. You will be just like your mother. Even if she is not good, even if she may be a witch, but you will be like your mother. If your fourth
Yes.
lord is in Sarpa Amsha, there might be abandonment for you. Your mother might be.
Yes.
So if Ketu in the fourth house or Saturn in the fourth house in Rashi chart, Mars, malefics are not enough. You may have Venus Digbari in the fourth house, but still you may have issues with your mother if your
Yes,
fourth lord
absolutely.
is Sarpa Amsha, Yama Amsha in D12 chart. So we look at that connection to the parents, strong connection to the domestic heads, the father and the mother
Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
D12 chart.
See, I've seen the cases where the fourth house is heavily corrupted. And I've checked with those people as to said as what is that you're facing in your life. And they started crying, talking about their mother, their properties, and all that. They started crying. And when I went and saw into the Amshas, as you said, in the Amshas, in the D12, I was astonished to find that they were having a Sarpa Amsha. Okay.
Amsha is
At
a
some
very,
point
very
of time, they very, very malefic Amsha. Very, very malefic Amsha. So that is how I try to check the chart and okay, remedies point of view at later point of time when we are slowly getting into the Zoom mode, we will try to understand the remedies and also give remedies to our viewers. But as of now, we will talk about the fourth house. We are talking about the fourth house and how to check the fourth house. That is what we are going to talk. Anu, please go ahead.
Um, so one more thing, which I was, about the D12 chart, the Dwadashamsha, what happens is, many times parents come to us in consultations and they are totally heavily relying on their children. They feel now that they have
Mm.
invested so much for the children. Will the children take care of them? Okay. Sometimes even the inheritance, you have cases where the children are killing the parents for property, or the
Yes,
father mother has nothing, father mother has totally very difficult circumstances of poverty, and the children they are indebted to build a house for the parents and take care of them. That is also seen in D12. So if your fourth lord, sixth lord, all these are associated in D12, and there are strong connections of fourth lord, or your eighth lord with the fourth lord, and that you see in D12, you can find out how you are like, are your parents becoming a debt for you? I mean, you sometimes there are children who go into debt because of parents, and sometimes the parents give a lot of inheritance to the children, right? So that,
Yes.
because fourth house of landed property, fourth house is our conveyances, all that you get, landed property. So that is also seen in D12.
Okay. As you said about inheritance, Anu, I would like to tell you that in my Rashi Chakra, okay, my eighth house has got Saturn.
Hmm.
Okay. Saturn is the Chara Matrukaraka. Okay.
Hmm.
And I have inherited my property from my mother, not from my father. Okay. And of course, I had a lot of problems at the time of inheritance. As I told you, I had issues with my sister. But ultimately, I
Because
got the
Mars is the
property.
Karaka, Mars is the elder sibling.
Yes, yes.
Fourth lord.
And one more thing, Anu, from my fourth house, these two planets in Scorpio, the lords of the Scorpio, as you said, there are two lords, it's Ketu and Mars. From itself, that is from the fourth house, they're going and sitting in the 12th house,
But
which is not
was
good
she
at
the
all.
was
Which
she
is
the
not
younger
good at
sibling?
all.
She was your younger sibling?
My, no, I had at least 10 younger siblings. All of them died, and I'm the last one. I'm the youngest in the family.
Because of the Mars Ketu in the third house, which is the younger Karaka for
Exactly,
younger
exactly,
sibling,
exactly. Mars
that is
will
a
not
curse
allow.
of the,
Yeah, yeah,
that is a curse. There's a because fourth lord is involved, right? Fourth lord is involved,
yes,
12 from itself. So there is something of Grama Devata, something about the house, something about the maternal lineage. So you should have gone to
yes,
D40 and check.
yes.
D40 and check.
So what? See, because of all this, see, one more thing is that in my chart, because of my Leo Lagna, my ninth house is house of Badaka. Because you already put up the question of Badaka, okay? The Badaka
Yeah,
Sthana. For the Leo
yeah,
Lagna person, ninth house has become the house of Badaka. The Badakesha is Mars, and Mars is going and sitting in the third house along with the fourth Lord Ketu. So obviously, I should not have younger siblings. I should be the last person in my family.
yeah.
Okay. And I
Because
do not have
Bharadesha is,
any, I
yeah.
do not have any male children. I have got all female children after my marriage
Sorry, but
because
because
everything got
Bhadakesha
reversed.
is land, because Bhadakesha is Mars, and Bhadakesha Mars is land, Mars is Mars is the sibling, right? So you had problems
Hmm.
because even after having land, you had problems using that land. Bada is there,
Yes, absolutely. Yes, yes,
obstacle.
absolutely. Yes, yes. We have a big issues with my elder sister.
Yeah, so that again, because I have read in text in Faladipika that fourth house shows the relationship with your siblings as well. Fourth house shows
Yes,
the it shows the relationship with your relatives and your kinsmen. So whatever planet is there in the
yes,
fourth house, it shows, it's like, suppose Venus is there. Venus, you're a likable personality. You have very good, because third house is the house of siblings, close confidants, neighbors. Second to third house is the fourth house. So whatever planet is there in
yes,
the fourth house will help you in either making or breaking relationship with people. So I
yes.
think for you as well, Ketu, which is Ketu and Mars, are both the Karaka for fourth house. Fourth Lord becoming Badaka, Grama Devata, you had to worship.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to the Grama Devata because this Hyderabad is been constructed by Nizams. Okay, and Nizam had a dream, and where Kali Mata, okay, she came into his dreams and said, "Please construct a temple in Hyderabad." And because at that point of time, somewhere, I mean, 100 years back, there was a huge floods in Hyderabad, and ultimately Hyderabad was almost getting washed out. Okay, and Kali Mata, she came into the what you call the dreams of the dream of Nizam,
Nizam.
and Nizam constructed a huge temple, a very big temple in Hyderabad, which is our Grama Devata. So I have went and visited the Grama Devata also. And from that point of time, things started moving properly, and not I'm not having much of troubles in the area related to the fourth house.
Sir, but it is also it's a fixed sign. So again, the bhava, because it's a fixed sign, um, those things
Yeah,
will not be changed. It is fixed. If you have to get something, you will
it's
get it.
fixed. Yes, yes. And one more thing, Anu, if as we are talking about the planets, we should also try and understand what is the outcome of the planets placed in the fourth house. Okay. So
Yeah.
fourth house can be anything. It can be Cancer, Karka Rashi, it can be Kumbha Rashi, whatever it is. We should not only get fixed to the Karka Rashi only. Karka Rashi is nothing but the natural fourth house. But depending upon the Lagna rising at the time of the birth, the fourth house can be anything. Okay. Depending upon what the planets are in the fourth house, we should try and understand what is the outcome of that particular planet. Like some people, I have seen the cases. I have friends where Rahu is going and sitting in the fourth house. They have a very big trouble. There is, this is called as a Sarpadosha. Okay. And, I have told them to go and visit Kukke Subramanyeswara Swami temple. As you know, it is a very big temple in Bangalore. They have went and visited the temple, and afterwards things started changing for them. Because if a planet like fourth house is there, Rahu is there in the fourth house, it also constitutes Vastu dosha, as you are aware. It's a Vastu
Yeah,
dosha.
Rahu
In
in
the
the fourth house
same
is
way,
Vastu dosha, and also Naga dosha, for which Sarpabari
mm,
is
yeah,
recommended.
Sarpa Bali, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, as you rightly said, I have recommended Sarpa Bali, Sarpa Samskarna, and all that stuff, and things started working. Very small example I will tell you again. Some person, one of my best friends here visited me. He was trying to construct a house for some people. Okay, so one of his very closest friend. Every time a person comes and tries to construct, he used to fall down and die. That was the situation, and the houses were getting incompleted. So I told them to visit Kuke Subramanyeswara Swami temple. They visited, and at later point of time, within a matter of 6 months, they have completed their house. So this is the effect. This is one of the remedy for those people who have Rahu in the fourth house. Please visit Kukke Subramanyeswara Swami temple. And the second remedy is that try and donate something to a Sarpa temple. When the Sarpa temple is getting constructed, donate something. It is your wish. Whether you want to give some bricks to the temple, please give it. You want to give a brass bell to the temple, please give it. Okay. If you want to give some sand to the temple, give it. But at least try and put a brick while constructing. The machineries, they'll try to put the bricks, or like for constructing the wall, at least put one brick onto that wall and cement it. That is enough. That will bring you a lot of good effects after doing this particular remedy.
So Rahu in the fourth house also, because fourth house is a main pillar, like it's a main pillar of your chart. Fourth, it's a Kendra Bhava, and it is like the 10th from the 7th, the karma of the marriage. It is the fourth, the happiness to yourself, like the happiness of your life. It is the Dwar, the 7th, Maraka to the 10th house. So because the fourth house is afflicted with Rahu and the 10th house is Ketu, it is very difficult combination. So I feel that, with my experience, even after the Sarpabari, all these things, because it's a malefic in the fourth house, as I said, he will have issues with anxiety. He will have the Bhava is destroyed. However, the Graha Karakas he will still get. So I have seen that Rahu in the fourth house, people get hybrid cars. People have ultra modern, cars with highly like technological gadgets in the house. Like the doors are opening with Wi-Fi, or Alexa is opening the doors. The security system of the house is modern and high tech, ultra luxury. Rahu in the fourth house gives that. Rahu in the fourth house also gives you a home which is away from the motherland. So I think that for
Yes,
people with Rahu in the fourth house, it is better to live away from their native place, away from their
absolutely
homeland, not live with the
correct.
mother, not live with the mother. And because Rahu is in the fourth house is the house of your heart. So you will definitely have instability up to 48, at least the 40th year. There will be a major event for you, because fourth house, as per Bhikkhu Chakra Paddhati, is the 40th year. We have some years as per Parashara, and some years as per Hilaja. There's a astronomer called Hilaja. So he has given the importance of 12th year and 8th year in the fourth house. So when Rahu is in the fourth house, it is said that there can be harm to relatives, Relatives means, can be your siblings, can be, because fourth house relatives can be all relatives of your house, right? Your
Yes, yes,
sisters,
yes.
fourth house is also your, like suppose 11th house is your elder sibling, or 11th house is your father's younger brother. Fourth house is
Yeah,
the sixth, the job or debt or whatever. The sixth house, the enemies of your elder sibling, enemies of your father's younger brother. So fourth house means
yeah,
there might be some person in your own house which is becoming the enemy for these people. There can be theft in your
yes,
house. People, people
yes,
rob jewelry, people rob your vehicle, which is parked. So fourth house can give them these issues, and I see that after doing sarpabari, all these things, so those bhava, those effects will not go away. At the most, with the sarpabari, what they, effect they will have is they might have effect of progeny. If progeny was being delayed, because the fourth house
yeah,
Rahu is the 12th from the fifth, right?
yes,
So if they are having a lot of
yes,
miscarriages, two in the 10th house is six from the fifth. So Rahu in the fourth house with Sarpapari, those effects are reduced. However, the other blemishes, that the destruction of the fourth house, those are not reduced. If other planets are expecting, such as Jupiter is expecting, then definitely, as I said, going abroad, living in a high tech, technologically advanced home, living abroad, living in a very unconventional home. Rahu in the fourth house, right? Unconventional. Like there are people who are building homes out of those shipping containers, right?
mm,
People who are living home, like there was a school, and the school was converted into a home, or a
yeah,
full factory was converted into a huge mansion. Like that's what they do nowadays, right? In the US, they have done that. So
yeah,
Rahu in the
yeah,
fourth
yeah,
house
yeah.
also means that unconventional home.
Yes,
So it
unconventional,
may not
correct.
be bad for anybody.
See, I know it's like this. If any, if, as you said, when the Rahu is sitting in the fourth house, a benefic aspect to some extent will try to mitigate the bad effects of the fourth house. But as you said, still there is a problem in that fourth house. But at least if it is 100%, it will at least come to 30% or 40% or whatever it is. Person will be able to survive. But the main thing is that person should not stay in the place where he has taken the birth. Yes, it is better he has to get out of that place, go to a foreign country, or go
With
to
the
the
mother.
place where he does not understand the language. Okay, there should be a language barrier. Okay, so that he'll be able to survive in that particular place.
Why language barrier is because Rahu in the fourth house is second to the neighbors, second to the third. So
Yes,
what the neighbors are speaking, neighbors are eating. So Muslim neighborhood, Rahu in the fourth house.
yes, yeah.
Foreign like
Rahu is all
UAE,
about people who are foreigners,
Dubai,
foreigners. Yes, iron
yeah,
countries. It is called as iron countries.
southwest direction
Or the
also.
person,
Like suppose
yes, or the people
east of the
who do
north.
not belong, yeah, people who do not belong to your same caste or same sect or whatever it is.
So let's go one by one all
Yes,
the
sir.
planets. Um,
Yeah, yeah. See, I'll just try and give this some aspect of the planetary placement. If the sun is in the fourth house, the happiness is reduced until and unless the fourth house is Leo, or such signs where the sun is strong like Aries. That means sun gets exalted in the Aries sign. The own sign of sun is Leo. So whenever a planet like sun is sitting in the fourth house, apart from this Aries or Leo sign, if it is sitting in any other sign, that person will have to take lot of responsibilities of his family. He will become a loner. I have seen the cases. A person has got a Pisces Lagna, rising Lagna, and the fourth house, it is Gemini, and the sun is going and sitting in the fourth house. None of the people are working over there. She is a lady, and she takes up the entire responsibility of that particular house. She feels very lonely over there, and at times it so happens that they fight a lot. Okay. Now, if, as I told you, the native is called upon to take a number of responsibilities on account of parents and proves to be an idle child in that sense. Okay. The Argala, as I told you, there is a concept called Argala. If the sun is in the fourth house, it has got Argala on the Lagna. So the person will be a God fearing person. Okay, so Argala is also very important. The placement is also very important. And the aspect on the fourth house is also very important in order to reduce the bad effects of the fourth house. If there are any Krura, because Sun is not a malefic planet, it is a Krura Graha, it is not a Papa Graha. Okay? Unlike Saturn, Mars, Ketu, and Rahu, Sun is not a Papa Graha, it is a Krura Graha. Second thing, if the moon is in the fourth house, the native will be very happy. The reason being that it is the mother who's making him happy because of the good relationship the mother is going to have with his mother, and the mother will allow him to have a good learning. She will become like a guru to him. She will ensure that he gets educated in the right way. She will ensure that he gets educated in the right way.
Moon in the fourth
Okay,
house.
as I told you, yeah, as I told you, moon in the fourth house is very good because moon is a karaka for the mother until unless it is not debilitated, it is not hemmed between malefic planets, or it is not with Saturn. Please understand one thing: Saturn and moon do not get along very well. I've seen cases where the Saturn and moon are getting, where the Saturn and moon are sitting where the Saturn and Moon are sitting in the same house, and mother died because of cancer. Because Saturn is that planet which kills people very slowly. Moon is that planet which is associated with blood. So when Saturn is sitting with Moon, it causes the blood to become dirty, because Saturn is a dirty planet. Okay, Saturn is a dirty planet. So that's like that. In that way, we have to see. And also the next thing what you have already told is that Jupiter gets exalted in the natural fourth house, which is Karka Rashi. When Jupiter is going and sitting in the fourth house, which is one of the best, what you say, best placement of Jupiter in the
Jupiter in the fourth house, sir.
yeah, Jupiter in the fourth house is in the natural zodiac, which is Karka Rashi. They say that Jupiter is a Jiva Karaka. Okay. So whenever a planet like Jupiter is in the fourth house, it is the person is blessed by a child. It's a male child. At the same point of time, Jupiter in the fourth house, the native is blessed by huge properties. Jupiter in the fourth house, the native is blessed by a very good mother who's got a very good understanding. Jupiter in the fourth house, the person is blessed by a good education, because fourth house is the house of primary education. Now, coming to Saturn, person having Saturn in the fourth house is never good at all until and unless the fourth house is the Mula Trikona, which is the Kumbh Rashi, until unless the fourth house is the Capricorn, which is the natural house for the Saturn, until unless Saturn is exalted in Libra, such people are blessed by Saturn. Otherwise, Saturn in the fourth house is never good at all. When I'm talking about Mercury, Mercury in the fourth house is very good. People have a wrong notion that Mercury in the fourth house is not good. No, it is not like that. Person will have a house where there is having a high commercial value. Okay, as you said, Mercury is nothing but the Kanya Rashi is nothing but that place where there is lot of greenery. It is associated with the commercial value. It is associated with those places where is lot of gardens and everything is there, because Mercury is green in color. The natural color of the Mercury is green, and also it is the place where you have lot of markets, lot of places where there is a lot of commercial activities going on. Of course, the commercial activity is also associated with Libra, but here it is the high value areas where the houses are being built. But the main problem with this fourth house is that the person who's having Mercury in the fourth house is like a person who acts like a child. He will try to gather all small things which are unnecessary for him, which forms like a clutter in his house. He should try to avoid that particular house, but he will have a very good primary education, because Mercury is the Karaka for the primary education also. Okay. Now coming to Rahu, as we already explained, Rahu, until unless he's sitting in his own house, until unless he's getting exalted, until unless he's going and sitting in his friend's house, Rahu sitting in the fourth house is never good at all. because it will impact the childbirth. It will impact his house wherever he's staying because it is a Sarpadosha. We have already given the remedies, as you told, it is Sarpabali. Person has to visit the Kukke Subramanyeswara Swami temple, and person having Rahu in the fourth house is never happy with his mother. He will have problems with his mother. Mother herself will have some issues as far as the health is concerned. So we should also see all these things when you're trying to understand the fourth house. Now, Ketu in the fourth house is like having a small house. As you said, Ketu is everything minute in nature, which is the miniature part of the bigger house. Okay. Maybe you may be having two houses, but at least Ketu in the fourth house, sitting in the Vrishchika Rasi, which is his own house, definitely you will be blessed with lands, you will be blessed with properties. But one thing we should understand that planet like Ketu sitting in the Vrishchika Rashi, you'll find that these people houses will be near some burial grounds because it is a natural eighth house. It will be in a marshy lands where there is a lot of sand, lot of water is also connected to it, and it is called a sinking sand. You know that those places you'll find this person is going and constructing his lands. Okay, and the last one is as you've already explained, Venus is also very good. Exalted Venus is very good. Venus going and sitting in his friend sign is very good. Venus going and sitting in his own house, which is Libra sign, is very good. The native is blessed with huge properties, luxurious properties, where these properties you find, nowadays these properties are built like with glasses, okay, chandeliers, high-end cars, all these things, you'll find in the person's chart where the Venus is going and sitting in the natural birth. Please correct me if I'm wrong, Anu. I don't know whether this is right, which is correct or not. Person having a Venus in the fourth house, do you think that the person is blessed by a good female partner, a very good looking female partner?
So it depends on the strength of the Venus. First of all, Venus in the fourth house is very good for a beautiful home. A beautiful home,
Yeah,
well kept home, good linen, good bed, jewelry in the house. But fourth house is the 10th from the 7th. Whenever
yeah,
natural fourth house is Jala, and
yeah.
Venus and Moon both being Jala Tattva planets, what I have seen is that the only negative part which I see, comforts may be there, all the conveniences, vehicles, domestic, like you have a AC home, you have all the beautiful things in your house, furniture, everything, but it spoils the issues with regarding marriage. Because that moon
Okay,
or Venus in the fourth house will aspect the 10th house, it will aspect the happiness of the wife, it will also, because it is a chanchalta, it is a fickleness of the person. So Venus in the
yeah,
fourth house, moon in the fourth house, usually the person has, you know, if it is afflicted, then they can have issues in relationships.
okay.
This is what
That's great. That's great. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I, and
Yeah, anything? Yeah,
Jupiter as well in the fourth house, though it is considered as very good planet, Jupiter in the fourth house can cause some issues because of the same thing, like there can be relationship issues.
yeah,
I mean,
okay.
this is what is given in the text. And Rahu Ketu, particularly in Faladipika, they have mentioned.
Sorry to interrupt you. When you're talking about Jupiter in the fourth house, and we're talking about Venus in the fourth house, Venus in the fourth house, as you said, it will affect the marital life, the happiness of the marital life, right? But
Yeah, yeah.
what about the
If
Jupiter
it
in
is
the fourth house?
afflicted, not strong.
Does it affect the happiness with the respect to the child? Because Jupiter is the karaka for the children.
It is gone 12th from the fourth house.
Yes,
Though it is,
yes,
so what happens is, there are two concepts. As I said earlier, whenever a Saumya Shubha Graha is sitting in a Rashi, I mean in a Bhava, it
hmm,
will bolster,
hmm,
fortify that Bhava.
yeah,
Okay. Whenever Saumya benefic, that is a nice Venus, Venus moon as a Pakshabari moon, which is bright light,
yes,
not a
absolutely.
Chandra moon,
Moon
not
should
a
be
dark.
stronger. Yeah,
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 so
yeah.
moon which is bright, which is Pakshabari, night birth, Venus again night. These planets, if in the fourth house, definitely good without any Krura Drishti or conjunction. then they will give good.
Yeah.
However, if they are aspected by malefics, if they are in Nicha Rashi, if they are Yuti, bad planets, then they will not give the effect. Also,
Yeah.
as I was talking about, the Saumya Graha fortifies the bolsters that bhava. So Venus being
Yeah.
a benefic, Saumya Graha, it will fortify the bhava. Bhava means what? Environment. It is the
Environment.
circumstance. Yeah, but now there are
Yes.
other aspects coming, aspects in desire. Mars is expecting, Saturn is expecting, there'll be a desire. So the bhava gets fortified. However, the graha karaka tattva may or may not get fortified.
Yeah.
Okay, so Venus in the fourth house will fortify the bhava. However, Rahu in the fourth house will not fortify the bhava. So it will destroy the graha, the bhava karaka tattva. But take
Yes.
up the, so that is
Absolutely right.
why fourth house Rahu people may not be happy, may be very anxious, very always worrying. The mother's relationship may not be good, but they might live in a highly technological, updated mansion. They might live away from their house. So
Yeah.
the
Jupiter.
bhava
Yeah.
karaka
Yeah.
tattva is getting affected, and graha karaka tattva is going up.
When we have Venus in the fourth house, I know I've seen that the native's mother is very robust. Okay. The native's
Robust, as
mother
in
is
she is
very robust, very
long,
healthy.
long lived, long lived.
Yeah, long lived, absolutely. She's very strong. She's very strong willed. I've seen these cases also. If Venus is also exalted, it is also the same thing. Venus gets exalted in what you call, the Meena Rashi. I've seen those cases also where Venus is becoming the Matru Karaka and the mother is very, very strong compared to the child.
So Venus in the fourth house also is associated to acquisition of hidden treasures, because Venus is the karaka for
Yeah,
Taurus. Venus is the lord of
yeah,
Taurus, which is the karaka for treasures, savings, all the gold, jewelry. So whenever Venus is associated to Sun, Jupiter in the fourth house, gain from parents, happiness of parents, like both Jupiter and
yeah,
Venus in the fourth house, happiness from parents, gain from all these acquisitions, and acquisition of hidden treasure. This is basically one
yeah,
of the things it was given in I think Parashara, that when Venus, Jupiter, and the fourth house. Okay, Venus, Jupiter at the fourth house, and Moon is in Kendra to the fourth house. That is Kendra from the
yeah,
this thing.
yeah,
Also,
yeah,
Moon, Sun, Jupiter, Venus are in the fourth house in own exalted or friendly signs. Then there is acquisition of
yeah,
hidden treasures. And for
yeah, yeah,
happiness from parent, whether you are happy with your parent or not, fourth lord should be strong and occupy
yeah.
a very good Rashi, either fourth house or 10th house. The fourth lord in own sign, because when the fourth lord is in fourth house, what happens? It is there, it is commanding the fourth house. Fourth lord in the 10th house also aspecting the fourth house. So fourth lord in the fourth house or
Oh,
10th house, fourth lord strong, and the sun or moon, that is the father mother karakas, sun and moon should be with Jupiter or Venus. So when sun and moon are with
okay.
Jupiter or Venus, positive sun and moon, that is, it cannot be a Shina malefic moon. If these are with Jupiter Venus also, they give you happiness from parents.
Yeah, yeah. Another thing, Anu, when we are trying to understand the fourth house, we just cannot rely on one planet sitting in the fourth house. When we are trying to analyze the fourth house, we have to see the Karaka, the Bhava Lord, that is the owner of that particular Bhava, planets aspecting it, planets conjoining the fourth lord, all these things have to be taken into account. See, there is something called as tripod. It is tripod in a life. Okay, in that particular native, there are three aspects which plays a very important role. First is the Lord. The Lord is very, very important because he's owning that house. Okay. The second thing is that who is actually sitting over there, who is actually aspecting that particular house, okay, aspect in the particular house, we have to see. And the final thing is who is the karaka for the house. If suppose the karaka is very badly placed and the lordship is very nicely placed, in spite of the lordship is very nicely placed, the person will not be happy with respect to the fourth house because God is saying, okay, I am not giving you any help with respect to the fourth house because the karaka for the fourth house itself is very badly placed. What I'm talking about very badly placed is that it should not be sitting in Marana Karaka, which is for the moon, eighth house is the Marana Karaka. Okay. So it will destroy the fourth house totally. It will destroy the mother. It will destroy the happiness. It will destroy the properties. Okay, so these things we have to be very, very careful when we are trying to analyze the fourth house. Karaka, the ownership, and the planet which is sitting in the house in the fourth house, and the planet aspect in the fourth house.
So one more
And
thing I would like to
also,
add.
if the yet one moment, Anu, if the planet, if the fourth lord is going and sitting in the third house and sixth house, native is bound to fight. He will get into legal battles.
Third and the sixth from the
Tell me,
Lagna.
Anu. Yeah,
Third and sixth from the Lagna.
absolutely, absolutely,
The
absolutely.
third house is the house of fighting, and the ninth house
Fightings,
also the house
aggression.
of war, and the ninth house is
Yeah,
the sixth. This is a conflict to the property.
yes.
So he's not going
And
to
the
be.
sixth
So one
house is nothing but enmity. Sixth house is nothing but diseases
house.
and enmity. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So one thing which
If
I've
the
noticed is
suppose if
that, like, you know, that
yeah,
when we look at the
yeah,
happiness of the house, the fourth house, we say happiness, property, gains. Now, fourth house is the is the opposite house to the tenth. So all the gains,
yeah,
gains of financial things, gains of favors, all that is judged from the fourth house. The mother's health, whether ill health or good health, is judged from the fourth house, because any planets in the fourth house, for example, sun, will not only affect your health because of Argala and Lagna, but sun will also give you the mother's health will be affected. Similarly, gains like sun
yes,
in the fourth house is very good for gain from government officials, government influential people. If the sun is very, very strong, as in sun in Leo, sun in
yes.
Aries, not expected by malefics, very, very strong, like day birth, sun in the fourth house, like that.
Yeah,
So,
because sun is the karaka for the government, because it is the natural fifth house. Sun, it always talk about the kings and the government and influential people in the society.
yes. So, and one more thing which you said about the fourth house, we're talking, looking at the fourth house. The fourth lord should not be going, should not go 12, which is the fourth lord in the 12, in the third house, fourth lord in the 11th house, fourth lord in the ninth house. This will be taking the fourth
Yes,
lord 12th, 6th, and 8th from itself. Similarly, the fourth house Karaka that we saw, Moon, which is for home, Jupiter, which is for
yeah,
financial abundance, satisfaction, Mercury for education, Mars for land, vehicles for Venus, jewelry, all these things. So sometimes people have too much of land, don't have jewelry. People have too much of land, but I mean too much of education, but do not have happiness. So that way we can see that Mercury, suppose Mercury is gone to the third house, you might say very good ambidextrous or dexterous hand, skillful person, but Mercury going third from the fourth house will affect the education. Venus
yes,
going in the
absolutely.
ninth house, the moon going in the ninth house, because moon is natural bhava karaka. So ninth house moon person
Yeah,
also will have issues, because ninth house moon is going fourth from the natural fourth house. So this
yes,
way, moon, Mars, Mercury, Jupiter, Venus, these five planets, we have to see how they are placed from fourth house, because they are the karakas of the fourth house. So
absolutely.
if these are
So as you
combust,
said,
Manda
yeah,
Karaka,
yeah,
if these are combust,
yes,
Mandakaraka, afflicted, then, like for example, Mars is afflicted in your chart. It is the Karaka of fourth house.
yeah,
You may have jewelry, you may have other things, cars, but you may not have land. You may have land, but there might be
let's.
conflict. Yeah.
Their
So
conflict,
those
legal
factors
battles
also
will be
have to be
there and
checked.
all this stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So we have to understand that the planetary placement, the Karka placement from the fourth house has to be in Kendras or Trikonas, as you said. Okay. Some exceptions are there, as you already mentioned it. Apart from that, usually the fourth house is good because it is the natural fourth house. It is also the house of the mother. So obviously, mother cannot be an enemy to you. Okay, in most of the cases, it's fine because of the karma which they are getting associated with, which is the prarabdha karma. Yes, Anu, tell me. And one more, Anu, one
So
more thing, Anu. When you're talking about the Aruda Lagna, because this is also the concept which most of the Jyotishis are missing. Moon in the 12th house from the Aruda Lagna, the mother will reject us. Okay. But we may have a love and affection to the mother, but the mother will reject it. Why? Because moon cannot be placed in the 12th house. Moon has to be placed in the 1, 4, 7, and 10 from the Arudha Lagna. It cannot go and sit in the 12th house. Because 12th house is always about losses. It is about exit. Okay. So when there is a planet like moon going and sitting in the 12th house from the Arudha Lagna, that means 120% that person is being rejected by the mother. In the same way, if the Aruda path of 4th house is also sitting in the 12th house from the Aruda Lagna, it talks about the losses with respect to the mother and so also about the lands. As I told you, Aruda is something which is rising in your life. And if the A4 is going and sitting in the 8th house, the direction where that house is being constructed or the direction where that person has to go has to be taken care of. Otherwise, the person will get into a lot of troubles like a long-term health diseases that person is going to see. Suppose the 4th house is having A8, which is what's called as Mrityu Order. That person should be very careful with respect to his house being constructed in that direction. As you said, let us talk about the direction also. Aries is east. Please correct me if I'm wrong, Anu. Aries is
Yeah.
east, Taurus is south, Gemini is west, and Cancer is north. In the same way, Leo is east, then Kanya Rashi, Virgo is south, then you have Libra, which is west, and we have Scorpio, which is south. So ES, for a simple understanding, ESWN, ESWN, ESWN. Simple, you can understand this particular direction. So
No, but
wherever
the
the 4th
planets,
house is,
the Rashis, planets in these
yeah,
Rashis will also change the directions. Like suppose you're saying Libra is west, but suppose a planet like Sun
yeah,
is there, then there'll be a
yeah,
eastern significance will be there.
absolutely right, absolutely.
I remember my
So,
brother-in-law in Australia was buying a
mhm,
house, and they were getting there
mhm,
was Rahu transit in the fourth house for him. And I was telling him, let
mhm,
Rahu move. This was about 3 years ago, 4 years ago. And all the homes they were getting were on the southwestern street. All the homes were facing southwest. Miraculously, the minute Rahu moved and Jupiter came in the fourth house, all the homes that they started seeing were northeast. So finally, they booked a house which was northeast facing, and the house also is like all northeast is very prominent in that house. So
problem in the
transits
south,
also
yes.
will change. So the fourth house, as you said,
Yes,
like any direction. So if A8 Mrityu is in the fourth house, not only going in that direction, but also buying of a vehicle, buying of a home, renovation of your home. Anytime you do that, renovation might trigger some bad luck for you. Chronic
some bad
disease,
luck, yes.
transformation, death like suffering. Buying a vehicle, if you have Mrityu that is a Aruda of the eighth house in the fourth house, A8 in the fourth house, then even buying a vehicle can trigger that death like circumstance for you.
And the person moving out of the house when there is an A8 in that house, in the 4th house, the moment he moves out of that house, he will get into some accidents. Some bad incidents will
Yeah.
also happen. That is what I have seen also.
Even here, see for you, you have said in the fourth point that A4 in the 12th house. 12th house from
Yeah.
AL, there would be losses with respect to mother and home. In my case,
Yes.
my A4 is in the 12th house. It is not 12 from my
Yeah.
Aruda Lagna, but Aruda of the fourth
Yeah.
house, A4 is in the 12th house, which means I live abroad.
Yeah.
I live in Seattle.
You are living away
So,
from your mother. Exactly.
no, this is from
Your mother.
12 from the AL, right? In my case, it is 12 from the Lagna. A4 is
It's
12
12
from
from
the
the
Lagna.
Lagna. That's what. Yeah. That
So,
means
I'm
you have to
living
stay
abroad.
somewhere abroad. You are living abroad. Your mother is in India. And you're in USA. So you're totally different poles apart. So, Anu, I have got some cases here. I mean, we have already talked about all these cases. Now, I have got some cases here. Of course, when I'm preparing this chart, I have not taken the North Indian chart. So here, the 4th house is having
Sir,
Mars and Moon, and Mars is
1 minute,
yeah. Tell me.
just a
Yeah.
minute, okay?
Okay.
Yes, sir, go
Uh,
ahead.
okay. Now, this is the chart of Jayalalitha. We know Jayalalitha, who she is. She's the CM of chain of Chennai for a very very long time. We have to see the 4th house. We have seen 4th house. 4th house is having Moon and Mars. This is called a Chandramangal Yoga. And even though the Moon is connected with Mars, which is a fiery sign, and Moon is also sitting in the fiery sign, which is sitting in Pranapada Lagna, and which is sitting with Shashtama Arudha, A6. Okay. She was not getting
Satrupada.
along very well with the mother, Shatrupada. She was not getting along with the mother properly, but at the same point of time, she is blessed with huge properties, extensive lands. Okay. So, and also we find that her A5, her A5 is also sitting with in the third house. Of course, we have to see the fourth house, and the fourth house, A4. Where is the A4? It is sitting in the Lagna, in the Taurus sign, and here we find AL in the Scorpio, AL which is uh, A4, which is sitting in the fifth house from the AL. People are very close to her. People used, the society used to help her a lot. Okay, society used to help her a lot, even though there is a Gatika Lagna there. We know some reasons why she died, which I will not like to disclose it. But any planet, any Aruda, because we're talking about A4, Aruda Pada, the fourth house, which is in Trikona to the AL, which is very good uh, for the lady. Even though the lady has got a bad relationship with the mother, but mother always used to help Jayalalitha to go forward in her life. That is what it is.
Sir, moon and sun, these are the two luminaries, and especially these are associated to working with the government, working with the masses. Moon and the fourth house both associate to connection with the masses. And thus over
Yeah.
here, see, she has Mars retrograde with Moon, which is associated to Shatrupada. She definitely had a lot of court cases. Okay, land. She
Yes.
must also be having some issues with her brothers, if any brothers or siblings, because Mars
Yes.
is retrograde
Yes.
associated to Moon, which is a Karaka for mother, fighting with the mother,
And
fighting
Mars
for home,
and
fighting for land.
mm,
And you said that
mm,
A4 is associated to her Lagna. That is why she was so loved. She was an actress,
yeah.
and she was a
Yes.
famous, a television
She's a very
movie
famous
star.
actress. Yeah. Tamilian
Yeah,
actress.
movie star.
Yeah.
So A4 is sitting on her
Yeah.
Lagna, which means that the masses are actually going to her. A4 is
Yes.
Aruda of the house, which is connection to the masses,
Yeah.
popularity.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
So no wonder see how the
Because A4
A4
is always about what is rising in your life. Okay. So people are there. People who die for her, people who do everything for her. And if you remember, Anu, there was a temple being constructed for her in Chennai. A
yeah.
big temple is being constructed for her. There is a temple there where people can go and pray her because she was like a goddess to them.
Because no matter how you are, see the Lagna over here has Gulika. Lagna
Yeah.
has Gulika. However, it is always your image that stands out, the Arudas that stand out. So
Yes.
her Aruda Lagna has Ghatika Lagna. So she may not be that great because Mars, Moon, Chandra Mangala Yoga with the Shatrupada together is not really good. Plus, Saturn is retrograde, which is very close to Mars. Saturn retrograde, second,
Yes.
it is very close to Mars. So that is also a problem. But people perceived her. That's why we always, maybe the tabloids, her cinema life, people really love. Like how in India we have Amitabh Bachchan. People really
Yeah.
like him. He's a very popular actor. So Jayalalitha, back in her town, in her state, she was very popular, and that shows the,
Very popular.
it's very visible in her Ghatika Lagna, which is joining her Aruda Lagna. Her name
Yeah.
is her
And you
power.
also see, Anu, yeah, her Lagna Lord, Lagnesh is going and sitting in the 11th house. So she must have amassed huge amount of money. Of course, this is apart from what we are talking today. But if you actually try and understand the chart, you see the Lagnesh is going and sitting in the 11th house. So it must be extremely, extremely powerful, extremely robust, and extremely rich lady.
No, she had, there was this raid which the government did for her because again, see, we have Shatrupada. Moon is the house of home. Mars is court.
Yeah,
Mars is police. And there was a
yeah,
raid, very, very famous news which we had. There was a raid. Police raided a house and they found lots of gold, silver, notes hidden under the bed.
absolutely,
Collection of
absolutely.
saris. Collection of saris. So you can see the Venus there.
Yeah,
And
yes,
here, because this moon Mars, Chandra Mangala Yoga fighting with the mother, but A6 means conflict about that. So whatever she was having, she was being scrutinized for it. Like, how come she had so much money? So the police
yes,
raided her, and then, so that this A6 is causing conflict here with the moon.
yes, absolutely. Okay,
Interesting part
let's
indeed.
it's interesting part. Okay, Anu. Now time is up
So
for us. Let us
let's
close this.
close for today, sir,
Yeah,
and we'll have another part two. Um,
yeah,
with more case studies, and we'll talk about some other years, Hilaja years, Parashara years, like, if there are any
yeah.
planets in the fourth house, which year gets activated, which
Okay.
bhava gets activated, some techniques we can talk in the next class. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you all for
Thank you
joining
very
us.
much, Anu.
Please, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And one last thing I would like to tell you, please, this is the Zoom meeting for the benefit of the Jyotish lovers who are learning Jyotish. Of course, we are not amateurs in this particular field, but whatever best we are able to understand by seeing many charts, we are trying to put it on the Zoom meeting for the benefit of those Jyotish lovers who are trying to understand or trying to learn. Please share and subscribe and like this particular video so that we will be enthusiastic to bring more and more videos in the future. Thank you very much. Have a nice day. Thank you, Anu.
Thank
Thank you
you
very much.
all. See you all in the part two. Thank you so much.
Thank you.